right, let's go here. Let's roll it out. Welcome back, Samboners. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Samboner Show. I'm Samboner Mick, as always, alongside Mr. Colin Thompson.
Fired up, Mick. I mean, to
Did you
live
put
in
your
the
sunglasses on?
I'm ready for the boat show today, Mick. It is the Power Boat Show. I got my dockside seasoning shirt on. I got my half shell raw bar hat on. My coastal sunglasses. None of them are sponsors, folks. We get it. But I am in uniform. I am ready. It's one of the number one weekends of the year. That and when the Blue Angels come to town. I live in this town, and I'm chomping at the bit, ready to rock, baby. Naptown, Annapolis, Maryland episode.
I got to tell you, you just threw me off. We're sitting here chopping it up before the show, and the show starts, and the kid throws on his sunglasses. I'm like, who is this? Allen Iverson back there or what?
I'm blocking out the haters, Mick. I'm blocking out the hate. I'm blocking out all the shoobies. You know, I'm ready to go, baby.
God, take a look, take a bite. All right, so Samboners, little context. This is another location episode. Every month, Colin and I try to highlight a different location. If we had to throw it back for you, we've done some good shows in South Jersey. We've done some good shows in Philly. We've done some good shows in the suburbs of Philly. But, you know, in addition to just Philadelphia, New Jersey, we have an episode all things Key West. And now we're going to fire up an episode all things Annapolis, thanks to our good friend Colin Thompson, who is holding down the ground there in good old Annapolis. Big weekend on tap, as we know. That said, you know, before we dive into some of these local businesses, where to wine, where to dine, where to have some fun, big shout out to our sponsors, the Original Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge all over the country, and a big shout out to our good friends at Verona Pizza right here in Maple Glen, Pennsylvania. Proud affiliate Hank Sauce. Use the promo code Sambone. Having a lot of fun here at the Samboner Show. Colin Thompson, talk to us, buddy. You know, I've been to Annapolis. I've been there a couple times. It's an unbelievable town. My cousin lived there for a couple years. I know you got the nice little main drag there with the cobblestone roads and whatnot. But man alive, just an unbelievable destination to live. An unbelievable just place to just go and have some fun.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it, buddy. Oh, stay tuned on this episode too, Sam Boners. On the back end of this episode, we bring on an ex-Navy football player, Mr. Kip Frankland. Talk about an on and off switch. This guy is absolutely hysterical, but at the end of the day, just a true Samboner at heart, an ultimate warrior at heart. Yeah. So, you know, it was just an honor to have him on this show. Hope everybody tunes in. Hope everybody enjoys today's episode.
Yeah, no, it's a great lead-in, Mick. We're gonna have Kip Frankland on, who's a character who, you know, went to Navy. Kip's gonna come on about halfway point of the episode, and then we're gonna finish it off with just little spots around town so we can break the monotony of Mick and I just screaming about bars and restaurants and places to go and fun things to do. Mick, now before we get into that, do we want to break any news about some sort of DMV situation here? Or
I think we can do that. It's become that time that we know the Samboner train is going to fire up a new stop. We're going to unload a new page called the Samboners DMV, which is the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. If you asked me what that meant about 3 years ago, I probably wouldn't have the answer for you. Again, I did go to Archbishop Wood and graduated from Penn State, but that's either here nor there. So yeah, it's time to branch out. Colin and a bunch of his cronies are going to hopefully, you know, continue to build this unbelievable community of Samboners. It's quite the like-minded cult here in Philadelphia, South Jersey. We have people Samboning all over the country. Colin, I think I was adding up the states in terms of how many Samboner reviews we have had, not only in the United States, internationally, I think we have a good 13 or 14, but I think at this point we have covered 40 states in the U.S. where people are just traveling around, going to games, going on vacation, and had that desire, right? That Samboning feeling, right? You don't have it every day. But every once in a while, you're at this place. It's unique. They got unbelievable fried chicken sandwiches. They have unbelievable cheesesteaks. They have unbelievable hoagies. They have unbelievable po' boys. You name it, whatever it may be, whether it be a beer or whatever. They just had that desire to pop up their phone and give a little experience where you are, what it's all about, showcase the sandwich, showcase the drink, showcase the place, give some love to the local support. And that's what Samboning is all about, really just bringing the personalities and the different characters that, you know, Sambone Nation has continued to just bring forward. And we're always bringing, you know, some sort of light to some sort of small business, which is the ultimate goal here. So, we always embrace the new Sambones that come in. It's always debut season here in the Samboner hood. And that's that, right? So we're going to branch out. We're going to open up a new market in DMV, and look forward to seeing all these new Sambones and new characters come to light.
Yeah, man. Between Annapolis, between DC, between Baltimore, all the sports teams, Navy football, Ravens, Capitals, well, you name it, Commanders. It's a great area. I've been lucky to live in. Of course, we're talking all things Annapolis, Maryland today. Stay tuned for Kip on the back end. But listen, this is a place where I came to because my wife and her friends, right? Excuse me, the Florida Gators women's lacrosse team would play University of Maryland. They play Towson. They play Georgetown. They play these local teams. They play Navy. And I transferred to Temple when I left Florida. And my wife would be in the area, right? At the time, she's my girlfriend, but we were long distance. So if she was coming somewhere in the Northeast, I was going, right? So I would go to the game. I'd, see her Friday, go to the game on Saturday. They fly out after. Well, all of the dads, all of the brothers, all of the boyfriends, the husbands be like, hey, what are you doing later? I'm going to drive back to Philly. Well, just stay the night. You're off Saturday, Sunday. Let's go to Annapolis. Okay. Well, long story short, he took us. We went to Eastport, which is a whole next neighborhood right next to Annapolis. And my buddy George, shout out to NASA George, friend of the program. And George says, I think we need to go down to Davis's pub. I think you'll like it. And I walked in there and said, oh boy, I want to live here one day. And here we are. So it's just a cool town, Mick, like you've talked about. I think it's, my mom's opened a store in town, Cotton Company, which she has in Peddler's Village. And she also has in Cape May on 152 Main, right across from Chicken Roost, which is on our menu too, legendary breakfast place. And, they're coming into town, the helpers, and we're working and grinding. And Craig and Pat are like, man, this reminds me a lot of Key West in the Northeast a little bit. There's a lot of great bars and restaurants. You have the culture and the history of with the Naval Academy here. And then, which different than Key West, the football stadium's 100 yards from my house. So that's crazy. The flyovers, nuts. The F-18s shake the house. And then the Blue Angels. So it's that combination of the town where you just have fun and work, and the state capitals here and state police and the county seat. So it's very unique in that way. We love it, man. We do. And we got here, point blank period, because of Missy Aldave and their team over at Northrop Realty. Missy, daughter, and my wife, Sydney, played lacrosse together in college. And Missy's been doing real estate in this area forever. And her team at Northrop Realty, they serve Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania, District of Columbia, and North Carolina. They're all over. But this is Missy's hub here. She absolutely crushes it. And it's a first-class approach to the real estate market in this area, which is really tough to navigate because you have the government, you have locals that want to live there, you have the, all the Navy folks. So Missy is your go-to person here. When you're coming to town and you want to figure out where to rent, where to buy, what areas to live in, what your price range is, all between DC, Baltimore, Annapolis, and all those areas to stay in. Northrop Realty is your choice. Check them out. Missy's been amazing, and we're so thankful for their support of the Samboner Show and Not for Long Media. Now, Mick, when you came to Annapolis, did you guys get into anything, or you just were cruising through town, or what?
No, we did one of those charter boats, the fishing boats. So it was an absolute booze cruise, honestly. It was like the charter boats where they just have the lines already thrown out, right? And as soon as one gets hooked, somebody can just grab the rod and reel it in for shits and giggles. And then after that, we went into town and we just hung out. Honestly, God, I don't remember some of the names and bars that we went to, but I just remember it being one of the coolest places I've ever been. And I know it's got a long history of just one of the cooler destinations in terms of, winding down, having fun, being able to walk through town and hop in and out of great little spots. I actually got to look back on that, Colin. What were those places that I was at? If I had the visualization, it's funny. You guys talk about Davis's pub so much. I almost feel like I live there too. I'm pretty sure our good friend Dan Brown is posted up at the corner of that bar right now, waiting for you to get there.
He is. They are. And that's why we were humming through this episode. No, it's great. There's so many great spots. And with Main Street and West Street, there's these two main roads that just have commerce everywhere. There's just a lot going on. Tomorrow with the Navy game, we're what's the plan? And the cool part about this tailgate too is you could be a diehard, Penn State fan. You could be a diehard Florida Gator fan, Texas, Stanford fan, and everyone's cheering for Navy. It's got that where it's the military aspect too, where everyone's hanging out. They got their flag flying of Navy, but they also have like any college team, the Eagles fans. They have like, so it's just a great, easy atmosphere. It's great for kids too, which I think that's why a lot of folks live here. So I digress. We're going to dive into the best bars. I'm going to hit on these first three that are near and dear, and then Mick's going to rip through the rest of them. All right, so Heroes Pub. This is a place that's near and dear to kind of our heart because every Monday we go for steak night. On the weekends, we go there for beers. This place is the go-to spot. It's like Cheers. Point blank, period. Heroes Pub. It's just right outside of West Annapolis. It's right near the stadium here. Awesome service. Tons of beer on tap. Beers on ice. Great food where they have the combination of the bar food where, it's the peel and eat shrimp that are just unbelievable. It's a steak. There's a hoagies. There's cheesesteaks. There's sandwiches. Like there's healthy options. There's options where you want to indulge a little bit more. So shout out to our friends at Heroes Pub. This place is just an awesome place to hang out. They pay tons of respect to veterans and firefighters and police officers. And it's just a great place to get around some friends, get around some family, watch the games. I was there this past weekend for the Commanders and Ravens game. That place was just off the chain, packed. So, and the bartenders are wonderful. The service is wonderful. So we love Heroes Pub. Shout out to our friends at Dock Street. I'll tell you what, I've spent many a days, many a nights at Dock Street. And before I get into the fun and debauchery, the one thing that people don't know or should know about Dock Street is this. They have fantastic food, period. A lot of people go in for the late night because the great DJ Panda upstairs and the awesome bartenders downstairs and the great vibe and the bumping music and the Navy jerseys on the wall and it's right next to the water. But what makes that place electric to me and, diverse is the fact that you can go in there, you have the best wings in town. You have the number one crab cake sandwich in town. It's just an awesome place to hang out. They got all these great TVs, big TVs right in your face. You can't beat it. Dock Street.
You Samboned them, Colin. You Samboned those wings.
I did out front in that lime green shirt. I Samboned those wings, Mick. 100% right. And right on the cobblestone streets, you just can't beat the atmosphere of Dock Street. Being right on the water in that area, I absolutely love it. Shout out to Mo and their team, a first-class group of just people that work their ass off to show you a great time, whether you're in there for lunch, dinner, drinks, or you're there a late night party and you're upstairs. And if it's a good time upstairs. So shout out to our friends at Dock Street. Before I send it over to Mickey here, I got to talk about the GOAT. And this is Davis's Pub. This place is our local watering hole in Eastport. It's the neighborhood bar. Sitting at that bar and seeing people walk up from their house, come up on a bike, come up on scooters, mopeds, cars. There's a water taxi that takes you 100, not even 50 yards from the location right there. This place gives you a hug when you walk in. It's the old rustic wood and the old lacrosse sticks and the lacrosse helmets and the hockey helmets and the, pictures of when the Stanley Cup was in there, when the Capitals won it. And the specials are great. Their bar food's great. Outdoor seating. To me, though, the best part is the people that work there. The place is fantastic, but from ownership to the managers, to the bartenders, to the folks out front getting you seated, the place is just the best. It really is. It's your hometown, family owned and operated type of establishment where you want to go in and have a great time. We've had great nights there late night. We've had great night at 2:00 closing time, pressing that. We've had great nights there for happy hour, for lunch. I took my dad and my uncle in there last night. So it's the spot, Mick. It's the spot.
If you're an old soul like Colin and I, this is obviously a destination for where you want to live, right? I'll be living in Philadelphia for the rest of my life, but I'm a huge fan of dive bars. And when I take a look at the landscape of Annapolis, it's like the capital. It's like the dive bar capital of the world.
It's built for cold weather. When it's warm, it's great. Don't get me wrong, because everything's you're outside. But like, it's built, like you're saying, Mick, for these dive bars underground. Like,
like Stan. I'm trying to think. I think I was at Stan and Joe's. Stan and Joe's is like another dive. It's got like dark, live music, dartboards. Yeah, and then I wasn't at McGarvey's, but we were talking to Kip Franklin on the back end of this episode. He gave a shout out to McGarvey's, and as soon as he told us that was the preferred place where you get the proper Guinness pour, if you will, kind of like the Seaview Inn in Cape May. Shout out, that's my kind of place. And then it hit me. I was at Federal House. Federal House is one of those places, again, right on the water, indoor, outdoor, huge patio. That's where we hung out most of the night. That was a really cool joint.
Good spot.
I know there's other places like the Parley Room, the West End Bar. What else is out there? The Fat Crab, Galway Bay, Harry Brown's. I got to get back there, Colin. Maybe you'll invite me back one day, buddy.
You're always welcome. You got Acme. Acme's a nut house now. That's like where all the midshipmen go. Like,
no, why are they called Acme? I know that back in the day when I used to visit my brother in DC when he went to Catholic U, all those guys. I mean, they played on the football team. They were nuts, just like you guys. They went to an Acme.
Like, nuts.
Is there a reason why people call their bar the Acme? And it's like, is it a chain? No,
I don't know. I think there's been a couple. There's one in Nashville. I know that. It's nuts. It's a great time. You're going in there. You have that mindset though. You know what I'm saying? There's no like, hey, we're going to go sit in this quiet corner over here. There's no quiet corners. Okay. So I digress. Best restaurants in town, Boatyard, Chop Tank, Fox's Den, Aqua Al 2, if I'm saying that right, a new spot. Asteria is great. Carpaccio's, we were there all the time. Agave, the Goat, shout out, new place in town, really cool spot, Mexican spot, right by Mission Barbecue in town. You can add Mission Barbecue to this list. Metropolitan, Josh's Sushi, let's see, Chart House, Vita Taco, Ingrano, La Sierra, Preserve, Lemongrass, and Cantlers. That's your spot. The point, too, when it comes to like getting crabs, Cantlers, Mick, they have their own crab in boats, and they put the crabs underneath the restaurant in the water. So when you order crabs, they're pulled out of a fresh pot. So super cool in that regard. Okay, so we have to move on to some breakfast spots. These two places are just awesome. First, breakfast. When it comes to breakfast in Eastport, you can't beat Bread and Butter Kitchen. Bread and Butter Kitchen is, again, another place that gives you a big old hug. It is a small, kind of quaint establishment with fresh product, fresh ingredients, and everyone's welcome kind of place. There's like 5 or 6 bar stools where you look out on the water. There's a little table inside. They have awesome seating outside. They have live music on the weekends. This place is hopping, and their menu is off the chain. From all the great Mexican breakfast dishes to the breakfast burrito to the pancakes to the fresh fruit in the fridge. Like, everything's just fresh. And that's what they do. They do catering. They have it all at Bread and Butter Kitchen, right? Kind of tucked away in Eastport, this cute little spot. They have the best owners, managers, servers. They have tons of people in the back kitchen working, making fresh stuff. I absolutely love what they have going on at Bread and Butter Kitchen. Right on the water. It's the go-to spot for breakfast when you're in Eastport, and really for lunch too. They have lunch, breakfast, you name it. They got it. Bread and Butter Kitchen. Shout out to our friends over at Miss Shirley's. I went into Miss Shirley's yesterday and had some of their new October specials that you can get it at Roland Park, Inner Harbor, or Annapolis. They have another location in the BWI airport too. So if you're at BWI, swing through and see them there. But primarily the Annapolis location, I've ordered from a ton. I love the Cy Young omelet. I get that every time. They have great grits. They have great biscuits. But shout out to their October special. They have, first off, Orioles pancakes that I had that are to die for, and the little M&Ms with the Orioles logo on them, the orange whipped cream on top. Love the Orioles. Excited for that team. Hopefully they face the Phillies in the playoffs in the World Series. Pancake of the month. They got the Cookie Monster pancakes. They have pumpkin cheesesteak stuffed French toast. They have a tuna melt. When I was there, oh, Mick, the place is to die for. Like high end. We're going tomorrow morning for breakfast. Can't wait. Chicken andouille, sausage and biscuits. We had that off the chain. Avocado Thomas toast, chicken pot pie, the small to more skinny. The pancakes are voted best in the world. Like, the place pumps out breakfast, great service. It's that kind of diner, small town, college town vibe in there with just great people. great people, taking awesome care of you. You just can't beat Miss Shirley's in Annapolis, right on West Street, right when you really get into the heart of town. So it's a great spot to swing
Love it,
through
man.
and
Love
get
it.
your breakfast. What else we got for breakfast, Mickey?
Oh, baby. Iron Rooster,
Money,
Lighthouse Bistro,
money.
Rise Up Coffee,
Dude, I don't know how I'm not 300 pounds in this town. I had no idea.
Chicken Ruths.
Chicken Roost.
I mean, yeah, we're talking to the breakfast guy. I'm not a big breakfast guy. Give me a little protein shake. I save up for the cheesesteaks and hoagies, buddy.
Yeah, them and the beers later too.
Oh yeah, Samboner and beers. Well, we'll see.
Now I know we're talking about breakfast in Annapolis, but Ken Island, Maryland is not far, right across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. And there's a little place over there, a family-run New Jersey tri-state area deli. Man, that sounds just music to my ears from being down here in Maryland and just missing a good bagel. And that is called the Paulo's Bagel and Brunch in Ken Island, Maryland. Shout out to the Paulo family, amazing people. Andrew, their son, founder of the restaurant, owner of the restaurant. We played together with the Chicago Bears. We played together with the Minnesota Vikings this past training camp. And everyone around the facility is wearing their family brunch and bagel spot, their breakfast spot all around the facility. And I'm like, Ken Island, Maryland, no way. It's right near my house. I have to go try it. So I get cut. I come over. I sample the food. I do a Samboner review, and it was unbelievable. It reminded me of home. And everything bagel, pork roll, egg, and cheese, my infamous order, a little bit of ketchup, salt, and pepper. It was unbelievable. The place just gives you a hug when you come in. The staff is fantastic. All the different types of foods they have. Obviously, you can get the bagels to go, the dozen bagels and all the different cream cheese flavors, but they have the great plates too. You can get omelets, blueberry, banana, buttermilk pancakes, cream chip beef, massive platters, all the breakfast sides, scrapple from Jersey, pork roll from Jersey, tater tots, and then all of a sudden, like the lunch stuff that's really good too. You get, a pasta salad, egg salad, chicken salad, coleslaw, shrimp salad, potato salad, and a bunch of desserts, all the coffees you'd want and more. And it's family run. This is not your chain restaurant. This is a family run New Jersey deli, smack dab in the heart of the Annapolis area in Ken Island, Maryland. So shout out to the Paulo's Bagel and Brunch. This place is the best, and it's been a part of my breakfast routine now since I've been back from Minnesota, and I learned about this place. So check them out in Ken Island, Maryland, the Paulo's Bagel and Brunch. Mick, what do you think about this? Let's take a break. Let's send it over to our boy Kip. I think you guys are going to love this episode. This guy's trained to be a fighter pilot in Navy. He played football at Navy. He's got great stories about being a 300-plus pounder, and now he's got to lose all this weight so he can fit into a cockpit. It was a fun episode, man. He's great. And
he's going to make his Samboner debut this weekend.
We are. We're going to Samboner probably some beers together privately and then publicly some cheesesteaks. No, we'll send it over to Kip. Enjoy, guys. All right, so we're taking a break from all things Annapolis, Maryland to go in deep with a former Navy football player, future fighter pilot for our U.S. Navy, Kip Frankland. How you doing, Kip?
Yeah, boys. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. This is a great opportunity. Glad we show off Annapolis, a little bit of the Naval Academy for everybody.
Mick, is this mustache on this man Samboner worthy or what?
I mean, this is just, talk about getting ahead of, what do they call it, November? I mean, right out of the gate, we're October 5th, and this guy has got the mid-November mustache going. You just got to love it.
It looks like he's ready to Top Gun already, Mick. Kipper, we appreciate you coming on, man. First off, from us and Not For Long Media, Samboner Show, Mick and I, thank you for your service, one. And two, like we're saying, we're talking all things Annapolis here, a place that you've called home here for 4 plus years. It's a unique place. If you could describe Annapolis as a whole before we get into kind of you and your career and all those different things, like what does Annapolis mean to you?
So I'd say Annapolis, you get this weird kind of mixture of the military as a military academy and then a boat town. And then like right down the road is Baltimore, Maryland, which is definitely not a boat town. You get this weird mix of culture. You get these hardcore military guys coming off the yard, the boat people that are literally right outside the gate, and then when the Baltimore people kind of mix in. You just get this really cool this melting pot of people. It's a great place to be, especially in the summer. It's beautiful. I'm glad I picked to come here. Like right now is also, it gets a little chilly. I'm a Southern boy. Don't like the cold as much, but the summers and the springs and the falls up here are a delight.
Colin, is it true what they say about Annapolis? It's one of those towns, like once you move into Annapolis, it's one of the towns you just struggle to eventually leave. Like it's almost like that glue.
I think so. I say this, Kip, and my mom just opened a store here, a cotton company right on 152 Main, right across from Chicken Roost. And a lot of new people are coming to town, right, to help move into the store and all this. And they're like, man, this is the closest thing I've ever seen to Key West, Florida, with all the bars and restaurants and the water and stuff to do. I agree, Mick. It's hard. And even like my uncle who comes down, he used to boat down here, is like, man, I wish, 30 years ago when my wife and I were finding our place to live, and they live in Bucks County, we would have considered here. It's unique for sure. It's a great point. Now, Kip, go back to your kind of recruiting process. Go back to your roots. Tell our followers where you're from, what the recruiting process was like for you, and then how'd you end up at Navy?
Yeah, so I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Played like public high school. Played like spread. Thought I'd be a center, playing just snapping in the shotgun, like doing pass pro all day. And just kind of as the recruiting process went out, I narrowed it down. It was UVA, Navy, or Air Force. And then maybe would have walked on it. I wanted to be a frat kid. My mom's whole family went to Ole Miss. I was like, maybe I just
one of those guys.
The football. Yeah.
That was
100%. That was the Grove was all I ever wanted. Like that was maybe walked on, probably not. Just been a frat star. But I get recruited by Ashley Ingram, who's still with the staff, and then Ken Niamontololo, who's now at UCLA. It was our head coach. They were two men that kind of came into our home. My mom loved them. My mom was in love immediately. They got her on board before they had me on board. And so I just kind of look up videos like, oh, what's the neighborhood like? What really goes on like other than football? Because they kind of leave out the military, like the plebe summer, all that stuff. So my mom even kind of like was like, you don't need to watch any videos. Like it's cool. But I took my official visit. I saw everything. I saw the midshipmen just kind of in their day-to-day lives. And then as we kind of went out after the game, you just saw like the professionalism and like the opportunities that people here get to have. And I was hooked. I took one official visit. I committed the next week, and I loved it. Then you get
no, go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
And then no, so like the opportunity to fly or go Marine Corps, and then like some people have dreams of being like special operators. Obviously, I came in here like 300 pounds. That wasn't for me, but fell in love with being a pilot. Kind of set my goal of that as I kind of crossed through the threshold of plebe summer. I said, I want to be a pilot, and that's all.
Okay, so explain to everyone the shit show of what plebe summer is.
Oh yeah, so they bring you in. It's the scariest day of your life. You're up at like 4 a.m. They kind of bus you in from the stadium, or like some people get blessed, like they figure out how to drive on. Their moms get the inside early, and their moms drive on. But you show up at our like it's the alumni arena, like the basketball arena, and you walk in circles. Like everything's looped off. They shave your head, and they don't let you shout. They shave your head, and I think they purposely like try and get hair in you.
Oh.
So you're walking around with your hair. I mean, it drives me. I take a shower religiously after haircuts. I can't do it.
Oh, dude, I can't even cut my own kid's hair anymore because of that reason. Hey, Daddy, yeah. I can't take it anymore. I have to get a shower.
Mick scarred.
It's miserable. But at 5 a.m. I'll get my hair cut. I don't think I showered till 10. That just starts off your day miserable. Oh. People are yelling at you the whole time, and then they give you, think about like a legit Santa bag. And they just, as you circle this place, you're just filling this giant bag up, and you walk half a mile with it to your room. Wow, I've been yelled. I get chewed out. Can you cuss? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you get fucked up by your OC, your head coach of high school. Like your O-line coach up your ass, and then all of a sudden people yelling at you. It's a different yell. It's a scary yell. But you carry on this giant bag. Your head's on the swivel, and then you go through 6 weeks of just that. You're learning. You're getting used to the Navy, getting used to our customs, how you dress, how you act, the proper like salute to an officer, and how we carry ourselves as a military officer, which changes you. I mean, you go through 6 weeks, you're a different person. I think I lost like 20 pounds. Everyone gets sick. I mean, it's a shit show.
What's the meal plan situation like on base? This is a food-based show, fun debauchery show. I'm sure you have some good food stories about eating on base because I know you're a big boy. You got to maintain your weight. It's a little bit different. This isn't like me at the University of Florida at Temple where I have an unlimited meal plan and like I'm eating whatever the hell I want. I was like 265 in college. I was a moose. I pretty much was an extra offensive lineman, much leaner now, 250. But take me into and our listeners into what it's like on a daily basis eating on campus at the Naval Academy.
Yeah, so we have three meals a day. The whole brigade eats together. Everyone goes in, 4,000 people in this giant mess hall, and it's kind of like it's all family style. It's all meals like that. But so if you're eating breakfast at what time we eat, like 7, it was all probably cooked at 4 that morning. So everything's kind of just sitting in the oven waiting. So yeah, as a food connoisseur, at 300 pounds, it was not the taste I was looking for every day. We eat it. Everyone's always eating together. The meals are kind of, they're fun. To feed 4,000 people at once, they're actually amazing. There's no way a normal joke kind of like you can't feed 4,000 people like that without kind of having the food take a little sort of a dip. But the food was fine. You kind of got through it during COVID. It sucked a lot, but we love our DoorDash, like our Dash Pass. So if you look, like the offensive linemen, we all kind of would chip in, and everyone would get into the Dash Pass, and we'd order $200 worth of food every night, and we're all Venmoing it out and this. But we love to bring in McDonald's, anytime we call them Tough Tuesdays, but our full pad day. I think we went 4 straight years of Tough Tuesday getting a McFlurry or like a Frosty after. It's something to look forward to. There's always ice cream when we have a big full pads day. We're always ordering in, like get just 100 burgers for the boys. It was one of the most fun times we ever had. Like I was like practice would suck, but you get all this food, like just calorie dump. It was the best.
There's only so much disciplinary treatment you can handle, right? Colin and I coming from a Catholic school, I will say I do pay some attributes to like that regimented schedule, waking up every day, putting on the same uniform versus now my kids go to public school and half of them are walking down the street in flannel pajamas wearing Crocs, Kip. And it's like, but that's either here nor there. It's cool to just kind of, hear that story. But at the end of the day, you're one of us, right? You're sneaking, behind the wall and getting your little McDonald's on, getting your little Taco Bell on. So that's cool, man.
Yeah. It's, you're kind of a normal Joe Shaw. You have your old habits, especially the offensive line. The offensive line, everyone looks like the military. They're big on like how you look in your uniform, and obviously we cut weights. My max. I hit 320 at one point after Army Navy. I was kind of banged up. I was a fat lard, and then I cut down this morning. I weighed in at 239. It's like 80 something pounds in a year. Hoping to get to if I get back down to 220 by January, I'd be happy. It's 100 pounds in a year.
Yeah, not to bust your balls, Kip, but man, it can't be easy flying a plane at 300, can it?
Can't fit.
No, you can't fit. I'm stuck around here because they made me cut a little more weight to get down to Pensacola. You got to be below 245. Ooh. So, like, obviously these things are like tests on elephants and things, but they say the ejection seat of the trainer jets. If you're above 245, you don't go anywhere. You're stuck in the plane. So I think the real weight's probably 280. But probably one time it happened. One guy was one of the weights was like 240 on the dot, and it didn't get up out of the cockpit. So they make everyone cut down.
That's mechanical malfunction. Tom Cruise had no problem getting out of there.
Yeah, I was Tom Cruise, $150. Tom Cruise. We got some real hogs coming down in these planes, but it's good. I'm glad they did it. I think if I went to any other school, I'd still be 320 right now. Not giving a shit what I was doing. But so I'm glad they made me do it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like transition out of football is really hard for a lot of players because a lot of guys are used to eating a certain way. Even myself, who like when I went to high school, it was like, hey, you got to start gaining weight big time. So I jumped to 250, way too heavy for a high school football tight end. I should have been 235. I think it led to a lot of my injuries and a lot of my mishaps early in my career in college. And now like learning to eat better and like leaning out, I've changed my ways in my body. I digress. Before we jump into Annapolis, you mentioned Army Navy, right? A lot of our listeners, Mick and I, massive fans of the Army Navy game. Who is not, right? Like it's just the coolest thing in the world. And it's played a lot in Philly, which a lot of the show's based around. A lot of listeners have listened to that show. I don't want to ask the typical journalism question. Tell me about the Army Navy game, but from your perspective, your experiences, like explain it, like all the Army Navy, all the students from the Army are there. All the students from the Navy are there. Like, kind of give us an overview, like of what that's like. Go ahead, Mick.
Before you do that, though, Kip. No, and I'm glad you brought this up, Colin. And Kip, again, thank you for coming on. Appreciate your service. Appreciate you jumping on the show today. And last night, I'm a big Philadelphia Phillies fan, right? And they're obviously in the MLB playoffs. And I'm sitting here on the couch, and I went to the game one on Tuesday, and I just continue to just watch these games. And the question that continues to pop out of me is like, is this the greatest sporting atmosphere of all time? And then, furthermore, what are some of the best sporting atmospheres? And I wrote a couple down, one being the Army Navy game. Like, so yeah, like to Colin's point, what's the Army game like? But no, more or less like, what's the surrounding like? What's the feeling like being on the field in an NFL style stadium and everybody's just getting after it?
So I will say, go back to plebe summer. Like the first thing you're taught, it's the weirdest thing ever we do. But as you're walking down the hallway, we can only walk down the middle of the hallway, and you can only walk on right angles, turning. So every time you want to make a turn, you kind of like you square out, you take a right hand turn, or left hand turn, and you're yelling "Beat Army," like either "Go Navy" or "Beat Army." It's really ingrained for you from the day you walk in. You have to scream "Go Navy, beat Army" every time you want to turn a corner when you're walking inside Bancroft Hall. I mean, it's from day one. That's all it is. In our weight room, it's all beat Army. Like we have a lot of what's kind of funny. We have a couple floor mats that always say beat Army. There's never a Go Navy floor mat. It's always beat Army because you're just.
Let's dive more into that though. Like at the end of the day, it's all one, right? If we had to go to war, we're going to battle together. We're going to try to represent our country. But like, is that just a combination of just tough love, brotherly love, if you will? The whole beat Army, Go Navy, beat Army?
I think for the normal Joe midshipman, it's probably like, oh yeah, like we kind of hate on them, like just but I personally really have a disdain for those guys. And a lot of guys like, oh yeah, like well, like you're like all the parents don't say in the pre-interviews like, oh like they're enemies one day, they're fighting the next day. I do not like Army football one bit. I think now that I'm retired, I get to kind of say like whatever. I think their coach, a little punk, like loves a chirp. He went to Navy, like dude loves a chirp, loves to think he's hard. But they've got one kid, their captain this year, Austin Hill, is the only good one with them. 52, plays D line. I went to high school right by. He's one of my best friends. He's the only good one in the program. The other ones, I can't stand Army.
There's a wood. That's a great guy. That's a way to get it out of him, Mick, because he fire him. Mick's like, we're in this together, right? He's like, nope, I hate him. I love it. There's a wood kid there. Is it Ben O'Lyman, 52, Ben Bishop, or oh man, that's gonna bother me now. Archbishop Wood, Army. That's just bad radio. I'm sorry, guys. Offensive line. You probably went at him. You guys probably went at it, but he's a wood kid and he had a great career at Army. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. But go back to Army Navy. Paint the picture for our fans. Like,
yeah,
what's that like?
So I had the opportunity this year. I was really blessed. Team vote. They voted me team captain. So like I get kind of the first look at being on because the first 3 years of Army Navy, you're in the locker room. You don't see anything. You just kind of run out and you're just in it. But being the captain, I mean, you have all the big officials from our military sitting in there. Like normally the president comes. We had him my junior year. Biden was doing something, couldn't come this year. But like you have all the Secret Service are looming. I mean, they are Secret Service everywhere. And it's just like you can't play a game and obviously the fans are loud. Like there's this like electricity through the fan. You can hear the fans when you're in the locker room. That's how loud. Like everyone is just so amped up. Even the drive on, like when you're driving into the game on the bus, I mean, you just kind of you sense it in the people around you. There's something different. You get in, like you kind of warm up for a game. Normally the stadium's pretty empty. Like, you're going on, you're walking around in like a t-shirt and like fuck, there's no one here. You're able to kind of like loosen up. When you get to Army Day, it's already packed. And when the gates open up,
it's like the ultimate. The way I see it, it's like the ultimate turkey bowl. It's the experience, right? And you got people from practically all over the state, but the fact that you get to play either in Philadelphia or where else do they host it to? They've hosted a couple of years in Baltimore, right? Or is it back?
Played Baltimore's next year. I played in MetLife. They're going to Boston this year.
So they're starting to swap around. At one point, I thought it was like Pittsburgh, Philly, Pittsburgh, Philly.
Oh, and here's the thing that people don't realize.
Or Baltimore.
It can't go anywhere else. Like Jerry's world, Jerry wants to have it really bad, which would be cool because it's in Dallas and it's middle part of the country and it's a very, patriotic area and all that stuff. But you can't go there because all the students go to the games. So am I right, Kip? They got to bus them.
Yeah. Every member of the brigade, and I forget what they call their thing, but all 4,000, everyone's there.
They bus up the morning of. It's like there's I think 200 buses that leave Annapolis at once and go to the game. So this isn't like, hey, whoever wants to show up. It's like, no, you don't have a choice. This is another part of the military side of this, folks, that you got to roll out and go to. I think it's really cool. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. Especially in Philly too, right? Like Mick's alluding to, like that's a different environment. And we played, like you're saying, Kip, on a football perspective. Then we'll go into Annapolis here. Like we played Notre Dame and the Penn State game was early. We played Notre Dame game at night, 2015. And usually you're out there warming up and you're by yourself. The place was packed. It was half full for warm-ups 2 hours before the game. And everyone's doing some weird shit. I'm like, can we stop? Because I warm up with the same guys every week and they're catching balls and like showing off. And I'm like, you don't do this when you play Tulane at home and there's no one in the house. So I'm that guy.
Exactly.
That guy. So Kip, we'll transition to Annapolis here. This is an all thing Annapolis show. And again, dude, this is great. We're so cool to have you on. You made a list because you're a professional, of course. Like, talk to us about Annapolis, man. Bars, restaurants, like, rip it up. What are your spots?
Because Kip, I will say I did read one little article about you. I'm told you have an on switch and an off switch, but you know where to cut it off in the middle. Have your fun, but then when it's time to go to work, you go to work. So share some of your fun experiences, pal.
Yeah, 100%. I'll say there's no way you can come here and not kind of cut loose on the weekend. I took full advantage. I mean, me and my little crew. Normally we ride with offensive line. It's always been the O-line. Go out, normally take care of the quarterback. But we've had a blast. I love to get after it. I love downtown Annapolis. I would say starting off. I've got a list. I made a big notes app. A lot of different categories here. But I'll start off. I think if you're gonna come to Annapolis and you're gonna go to one place, you got one stop. Actually, I'll go two. There's two stops. One for a snack. You got lunch and you got dinner. Lunch, Pips Hot Dogs, downtown Annapolis on the water. It's hot dogs, burgers, cheesesteaks. I know y'all. It's cheesesteak. I test dog the cheesesteak month. Yeah, that's so dope. And they probably don't live up to y'all's expectations. But it's my favorite place in the world. They have this thing, Cheesesteak Wednesday, $9, full 12-inch cheesesteak, bag of chips, drink. Every Wednesday, I'm there. It's easy. I think they're coming up. They're naming a hot dog after me now that I'm retired.
Yes.
They're doing a couple things.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, it's in the NIL deal. This is from the bottom of my heart. Pips for lunch, can't go wrong. I mean, I love these dudes. Also, you can't get NIL in the Navy. Bunch of bullshit. Fucking these assholes took away all our money. We joked about it. Like you're so marketable when you're a midshipman. I could have been like Caleb Williams out here. But, I'm just yeah.
Because you're Samboner.
I go on.
Kip, it sounds like you've done a little research here in terms of Samboning and Samboners. So we're going to need you to make a little Samboner debut. Take a look. Do your research. Go down the pipeline. But just go out there, be yourself, man. Let it rip. At Pips, it's Cheesesteak Month. We want to see it, baby.
Yeah. All right. We'll go this weekend, pal, because we're making plans, of course, to get after it together. I'm looking forward to Mick getting this guy's switch turned the on button. Like slingshot engage type Top Gun shit.
Oh, I know it's in there, man. I'm telling you, he's a firecracker, Colin.
Kip, where are you going for dinner, bud? We'll do a Sambone. We'll do a Sambone this weekend at your spot. I can't wait.
All right, let's go. I'll 100%. I love to go. But so then my dinner, and this is so if you're wearing a t-shirt, wearing like kind of more casual dining, and not even you can wear a collared shirt. You're
I know what you're
great.
Say. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you got Boatyard. It's a little bit. It's in Eastport a little. You go across the bridge. But I mean, this place, they have the world famous crab cakes. They've got. I personally have not had a better crab cake. I only like crab, but these things are so good. I mean, I'm a ride or die for Boatyard, 10 times out of 10. We go anytime you have like a special lady in town or mom wants to treat you, take her to Boatyard. I mean, it's just like the whole menu is really good. A lot of seafood, even the burgers. They got a buffalo chicken sandwich that's to die for, and then their kicker.
The mags. Keep going.
Their kicker. They got the little shoestring fries. Like, it's not thick. They cook them and they're always crispy. They've got a great fry. I think that's what really ties the whole thing together.
Yeah, I love it, Kip. You're a professional. I mean, they're talking about tying things together. You're fantastic. You're going to be Samboning on the food now before you know it. So, listen, they love their blackened tuna steak with the blue cheese on it is just ridiculous. Their whole menu is great. The brunch is great. Their happy hours is tremendous. It's like an all Key West bar too, with all the fishing and all the stuff on the side. So, massive fan. Great call by Kip. I thought you were going to go McGarvey's. Because McGarvey's got underrated food. This is like an old school bar in town, Mickey and Samboner Nation. This is like the old fighter pilot helmets are up on the wall. It's like something you'd see in like a Navy movie. It's probably been in Navy movies before. And we go there for dinner, whenever we're in town and we're bopping around having beers and we want like a decent, good bar food. There in Dock Street are my spots.
McGarvey's is a play for sure. I never really drank in the Guinness, never loved Guinness. I got on the team trip to Ireland this year when we played Notre Dame. That's the Guinness spot. They've got #1 Guinness in Annapolis. You got to go McGarvey's. They've got buck-a-shuck oysters at McGarvey's. And shocker, I'm not a nacho guy because you normally go, you get nachos, you run out. Like when you're done with the order of nachos, you're done. I'm more of a chips and queso type of guy just because they keep coming. But they've got a killer chicken nacho. I love everything about McGarvey. It's a little bit. I don't know why it didn't make top. It's just I love their food. It's a great restaurant.
I am shocked that this is the first time on this show that we're learning and hearing about McGarvey's, coming from the guy who practically lives his life at the Seaview Inn, one of the best spots to go get yourself a Guinness. And here we are, Mr. Annapolis, being educated on where to find the perfect pour Guinness in Annapolis, Maryland. Good for you, Kip. Finally, we threw one up on the kid.
I'll say this. If I'm going to McGarvey's, I'm not sipping on a Guinness.
Come on.
At that point,
it's a spot. It's the only place you can get them right.
I'm rolling at that point. I'm on the on switch with Kip. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting there sipping on a Guinness. Now, I may have to try it now. I'm on my Corona Light tequila train, rolling right down the tracks at that point, probably to Dock Street. May end up going upstairs at Dock Street for those that know. Shout out to the Panda. But that's DJ Panda shout out. All right, Kipper, where else you like to go in town? We go to Heroes on Monday night for steak night. We do we do everything. We love Eastport. Davis's Pub is my favorite place on the planet.
I'm about to say, yeah, Heroes and Davis's, those are two joints. I mean, those are two, you feel home when you're eating there. Heroes got the trivia on Wednesdays. We like to navigate into sometimes. It's hard trivia. We come in like dead last.
I'll tell you what,
people in there try too hard.
There's talks about branching out here, Samboners, and opening up the Samboners DMV. I'm drawing a blank. We had a seafood month, Kip. And I was driving into Baltimore and hitting a couple of those spots, but it sounds like there's a huge, huge opportunity for some of these small businesses and their food to be showcased here in the Samboners DMV.
Yeah, I think maybe Mick, me and Kip do the inaugural video.
Kip and I, Colin. We went to Wood. Kip and I.
Hey, no rules when you're saying bone. Kip and I, thank you, Mick. I went to Archbishop Wood. That's why I say me and Kip. We shout out to Kurt Stengel, by the way.
Hold on real quick. I'm sorry. I found it was Box Hill crab cakes in Maryland. Okay. That was the best crab cake sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Okay. Dock Street gets voted best crab cake sandwich in Annapolis every year. Boatyard gets best crab cake just dinner, I think. They ship their crab cakes around the country too. They're a really cool spot. But Kipper, I think, Mick, maybe we do the inaugural kickoff. Me and Kip, we do the first. We get the cheesesteak.
If I could learn how to add it, sure.
We'll cross that bridge when you have to. Yeah, just run through your list for us though as we start to wind down here. What else do you got? Unload the chamber here, pal.
Yeah, all right. So you throw in. We talked about it the other day. You've got the Amish market kind of down the road. Just stop in. Just kind of treat. If you want to treat yourself, Amish market, good little joint. A lot of pastry, a lot of good stuff. I'm a big fan of the Amish market.
It's like the Reading Terminal of Annapolis, Reading Terminal Market. Good call.
Yeah. All right. Then you go. I'd say if you're kind of having a more of a tie, if you're wearing a tie, going out at night, Luna's Steak, right over there by Boatyard. It's the best steakhouse. I'll stamp it. Best steakhouse in Annapolis. Great joint. Then you have Chart House, which is kind of over back by Luna's in that area. Great little joint. And then you have Chop Tank, which is on the water. I mean, you talk about a nice little place. This place, second deck on the water. They've got a whole seafood bar, like raw bar, great drinks. A little bit. I mean, bring your wallet for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great place. A lot of good looking people in there hanging out. I mean, it's a good area. That's where you go.
Good place to bring your parents. When someone else is paying for it.
Yeah.
Good place to bring your parents.
100%.
Good place to bring like a Dan Brown character. Buddy retired. Mick knows Dan. Good place to go with somebody who's doing good because it's
someone's treat.
So exactly. Shout out to Pussers. Got the boat show this weekend. We got Navy football this weekend. Town's gonna be buzzing, Kip. This is now any good stories here before we wrap up of just Blue Angels, Army Navy games, maybe a night out with the boys. Like, give us something good, Kip. Give us a good one.
Oh man. Oh, I will say so. This is bad. I don't know if we should be admitting this, but there's a culture around here of there's something got a name on it of a restaurant. You want it. It's just it becomes yours, and that's all you really want. So there's guys around here, like you kind of see it, like when we do Army Week, like every kind of the brigade, there's kind of a no rules type thing for the plebes. You kind of prank people, kind of steal stuff. So one of my favorite stories is I was kind of rolling around like you don't know any better, and I'm just trying to get kind of like not get into trouble, but make a headline of some sort. And I steal one of the like the gaiters. There's a gaiters like that people do for like gardening around here, I guess whatever you call it, like for landscaping. And I'm whipping on a gator at night. I had a police car like with the lights on, like kind of searching for me. Like I ended up getting caught by the midshipman officer of the watch, and he we agreed to disagree, kind of let me just park it and get away. But there was a point. I mean, I thought I was the king of the world. I was driving around the Annapolis, or not Annapolis, like the yard. Should have tried to get off the yard. That would have been funny. But I was driving around like on the Naval Academy yard as a plebe in this gator with like the stupid plebe outfits we have on. And that was kind of one of the more fun times I've ever had here. Like avoiding the cops. I kind of my GTA 5 moment, if you would say. That was a very good day for sure. We had a couple other pranks. There's tunnels that run through the academy. Then we call them like the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and that we would a lot of guys. You kind of get into these like sewer tunnels and heating tunnels, and I didn't go the full way. I was a wuss, but there's guys they'll drop into these tunnels for Bancroft Hall, and you can get out the yard, and you're kind of in like the 7-Eleven area, like outside Gate 8. And people, that's where real shenanigans start happening. You
could pop up. You could pop up there.
You pop up allegedly. There's guys that say they do it. I don't know how trustworthy
Nick,
some
like
of you guys are.
Burrowing out of the link and like popping up at Chickies. That's how far he's talking.
Holy shit!
A little tunnel.
Yeah, a little tunnel. There's tunnels around. I mean, guys, some of these Army Navy weeks get pretty fun. They're the whole week's a thing. I mean, this talks to the game. It's everything. That's what everyone's looking forward to. There's all the buzz about. It's all the commotion. Trying to think of another story maybe about Curdy. Let's see what I gotta remember what Kurt did around
Archbishop
here.
Ward's finest, Kurt Stengel, offensive lineman, who played with Kip. Give me a Kurt story here as we finish.
Nice.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of good things Kurt did. You know, you get around Kurt. Kurt's big thing. He loves to just kind of just complain about practice. That was you get around Kurt. He's like, yeah, I don't know about this.
And drink Budweiser. Heavies.
Oh, loves the Bud Heavies. We've got a big Bud Heavy crew around here. I think
I
Kurt
love it.
did.
I love it.
Oh man, because Kurt was 2 years older than me. So whenever Kurt was able to go out in Annapolis, I always had to be in uniform.
Oh, it's the worst.
I never got off the chain as much with Kurt as I. In some stories, there's probably some stories that we can't put on air.
No, don't put them on here. We'll get you back
Yeah,
on.
but there's fantastic. I mean, we had some shit. We love to drink. This is a good drinking town. I don't know. I mean, I just love playing with Curdy.
Well, listen, Mickey, we got Samboner DMV, in the works. This man is going to Pensacola to start flight training too, so we're gonna have to get him dialed in for Samboner, Florida too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Kip, thanks for your service, man. Thanks for coming on. I'm looking forward to getting after this weekend.
Yeah,
boys. Let's ride. It's gonna be awesome.
Let's go, baby.
Thank you for having me so much.
Absolutely.
Samboner out.
All right, there he is. The legend, Kip Frankland. What a character. What an absolute character. Oh, my God. Where do you find these people, Colin?
What I did, I shout out to Brian Fitzpatrick, the athletic director of strength and conditioning at Navy. And I said, Bri, me and Mick, Samboner Mick, your boy, because Brian's a foodie, big time. And Brian got me to half these places in town. And Brian says, hey, and Kip had some good places we don't have on this list, which is good. But Brian said, I'm like, we need a coach, player. There's somebody on campus that you see what Mick does with these videos. You see what I do with these videos, like that kind of juice with food and fun. And they're just Samboners. You have anybody? He's like, I got a guy for you.
Love it.
I'm going to bring him by the store. So he brings him by my mom's store on 152 Main. And he's like, I want you to meet him first. I'm like, I don't need to vet him. I trust you. He's like, you need to meet this guy first. He's electric factory. And I'm excited this weekend, man. It's going to be a good weekend. One of his, sad note, one of his teammates passed away, a Navy football player a couple of years ago. And there'll be a ceremony for him this weekend on base right before the game. So it will be a very nice, touching thing. He's a great guy, and wishing Kip nothing but the best of luck in flight training. Hopefully, I'm not going to help him lose any weight this weekend, Mick. He needs to lose some weight, but I'm going to be feeding him cold brews and cheesesteaks, and he's going to have to sweat it out on Sunday like the rest of us.
That's it, baby. You got to sweat it out.
All right, I'm going to hammer things out here. Guys, we go to Always Ice Cream. If you're in town, you want some ice cream, this place is unbelievable. Everything's homemade. Fantastic spot. Barbershop right in town. Capistrano's. If you're a guy and you want a haircut, they're giving you adult beverages in there. You're sitting down, the hot press, the shave, the whole nine. I went there yesterday. I love the boys at Capistrano's. Cheesesteak spot, Mick. There's one good one I found.
Now, what did Kip just recommend?
He Pips downtown. I'm going to try that this weekend.
Pips.
And I'm going to be tough, Mick. I need to be tougher on my reviews. I get it. I need to be tougher. It's easier to be tougher down here. It's harder to be tougher at home. For some reason. But we're going to hit Pips. And then Gino's over in Samboner Park with a J. Gino's with a J. Not Philly Gino's. Gino's with a J. It's pretty good. It's a hole in the wall. Like you literally come up, you go to a window. You're in a shopping center. You think you're going to open a door. No, the door's locked. There's just a window. It's like old school Philly. And you just kind of yell up in there and say, yeah, I'll do whiz wit. So it's pretty good. Check it out if you're in the area. Shopping, Pink Crab, good spot. Con Company, good spot. Couple good little spots to hit in town. Great shopping up and down West and Main Street. There's something for everybody in Annapolis too. Like this isn't like it sounds like Mick and I are just talking about bars, which we are, and restaurants and eating. But like you can walk on base too, folks. For those that are listening, like, hey, I'm coming to town. What do I do with the kids? Bring the kids right on the Navy base. It's really easy. You go through this quick little security thing. You can walk all around the base. It's beautiful. And you get to see everything. And it's a really cool town. There's stuff for everybody. All right, Eastport, which is a neighborhood next to Annapolis. I got to pay respect to it because we spent a lot of time over there, and there's so many bars and restaurants. It's like, for Cape May folks, it's like West Cape May. Key West folks, it's like Old Town Key West. Like, there's like this main area, right? And you have it in Seattle, Mick. Like, you have the main area of like
over the bridge, right? And it's in a whole other little town.
Yeah, another town, exactly. You've been there. Yeah. But like, there's like the main downtown Sea Isle, and then there's like a little pocket, like a couple blocks away, whatever that would be this. And this is that little pocket. Shout out to Davis's. We already talked about that. Great spot. Vin 909, great pizza. Ruth Chris, Cows Creek, Forward Brewery. The Annapolis Maritime Antiques store is good. There's an Annapolis Maritime Museum that's good. Leeward Market's a cool little market tucked back there. Loon's Steakhouse, O'Leary's, Blackwell Hitch, Bakers & Co., Oscar's, a great little coffee place, and then Safe Harbor Marina, the Fat Crab in there. Shout out, good little bar. So, listen, guys, quick little all things Annapolis episode. What a great spot. When you're coming to town, you can DM me, or you can just listen to this episode and send it to your friends that love it and hear what you have to say. Follow, Samboner's DMV, guys. We're going to be pumping stuff out. Mick and the team and us are going to be just pumping be the same thing as the other page. It's just going to be in this area because there's a lot of Samboners down here, as you've seen on the Samboner page. People doing DC, which I can't wait to hit those spots. He did great reviews, Mick. The guy that did the 2 places in DC.
Oh, that's Sam Bonavita.
What a legend this guy
is. He's just absolutely crushing it. Crushing it. Yeah, there's some Sambones that I have from Baltimore and Fells Point. We'll throw those back on the board for sure.
It's the closest thing to Philly, this area, that I've ever been around. Because same folks, not that far away. If you're in Baltimore, it's like an hour 15, an hour 30 from Philly. Like Ravens fans, a little bit more wine and cheese. Sorry, folks, than Philly fans. A little bit more wine and cheese. We played the Ravens in Carolina. We came up here, and I was all excited for these great fans, as all my friends say. And I'll be honest, Mick, I was a little disappointed. They said, well, you guys weren't that good, and you weren't in division. Well, if the Carolina Panthers went to Philly and we were 2-10, it would still be rocking. I don't think Philly cares who you play. Now, I get it. If you're playing Dallas, a little bit different. But the link rocks no matter what. And again, I'm not a Birds lover. I'm a supporter. But I do know Philly's best fans in the world, maybe not the best people. And I'm one of them. Mick's a great guy. I may not be. But I digress. I'm rambling on. Just off the rails, Mick. Can't wait for Boat Show. I'm ready to go. I'm freaking shades on. I have no money to buy a boat, but that's okay. I can still have a good time.
Forget that sunscreen, Irish boy.
That's what beers are for.
Get nice and burnt.
Guys, thanks for listening. Shout out to, everyone who supported this show. We're very fortunate. And it was fun, Mick. Gotta love. Can't wait to get you down here, boy. Woo!
Great stuff.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Samboners.
Samboner out.
Pop that Sambone, and baby, it's on. Dropping 45.